What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another exciting personal finance video where I'm talking about gold and silver, investing, personal finance, and all that good stuff. Guys, thanks so much for your support. If you haven't done so already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom. I'll throw up links to all this stuff in the description below. But thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Next, my disclaimer, guys. I'm not a financial advisor by any means. This channel's specifically just for entertainment only. So please do your own research and due diligence before investing in gold, silver, any type of precious metal, any type of stock, or anything you hear me talking about. Okay, guys. So, what a week it was last week. First, we had the stimulus on again, off again saga. I just saw yesterday that the Democrats were saying that they're giving the White House what was it, 48 hours to come up with a stimulus thing. Bottom line, guys, the economy really, really needs this stimulus. It's not good. Jobless claims are rising. People are in like really, really bad shape out there. We saw a whole raft of layoffs last week, the airline industry, all that stuff. So where does this really leave us? My guess is that sooner or later we are going to get that stimulus. I don't know if we'll get it before the election. I don't think anybody really knows. I'll be surprised actually if we get it before the election. But one thing that's certain, things like gold and silver, they're going to do well in this environment. They are going to keep printing money. They are going to keep gorging on debt. It's absolutely insane. I don't know where this is going to end up, but a lot of really smart people, including former Fed chairmen like Alan Greenspan, they see massive inflation on the horizon. But in the short term, it looks like we might be headed for another sort of market correction or crash. I'm not sure. Commercial real estate is in the toilet. Restaurants are closing. Bars are closing. Cinemas. Like, it's just absolute carnage out there. I cannot believe that the S&P 5, like that the stock markets are trading at or near all-time highs against this type of a backdrop. I understand stimulus is good. It's going to goose the market, but all good things come to an end. There's only so much money you can pump into the system until it all kind of comes crashing down. And it's not just the US. Canada's in just as bad a shape. They came out with a report, I don't know when, last week, maybe on Friday or something like that, that was saying we just can't afford these massive, but hundreds of billions of dollars of budget deficits. In the US, it's trillions. China is in its own debt bubble. Japan has been stagflating forever. Or actually not stagflating. They've had economic stagnation forever, and they're really fighting deflationary forces across the world. We're seeing this. Housing has never cost this much money. The stock market has never been this expensive. Bonds have never been this expensive. Like, all of these are all like, I feel like we're in a control room and it's just like all the lights are blinking red. Red alert. This is not a good situation. This is going to be some type of generational event, and I don't think it's going to be a very good one. I don't think it's going to be good. Part of the reason I'm trying to protect myself by getting into some precious metals, acquiring some more, accumulating a bit more. And I'm buying real hard assets. I'm still into some stocks. I still have paper money and all that stuff. I'm not going to lie and say I sold out. I haven't done that. I'm trying to keep my head on straight, think long term, like I'm sure many of you guys are too. These are definitely challenging times. It's not at all clear where this ends. What do you do? Well, what I'm trying to do is protect myself by owning some precious metals. I'm trying to protect myself. Well, long ago, I guess I protected myself by not taking on too much debt, by making it a point to save and to invest. I have a little bit of cash on hand. I also have some cash in my investing accounts that I can use if need be. Like, my heart honestly goes out to a lot of those people who have lost their jobs. Because a lot of these people probably weren't prepared for this. No one saw this stuff coming. Of course, the economists are like, oh, we could see, There was problems in the repo market in September of 2019 and all this stuff. But the average person, the average guy out on the street, if you're a waitress or a waiter, uh, if you're a bartender, um, if you work at a movie theater, if you work in a restaurant, like so many people, airline stewardess and stuff so many people, you think those people saw this coming? No. Did they think a year ago that they would be laid off? No, because there was no indication that we were in for some sort of massively disrupting event like what we saw this year. And this has really caused, I think, a bit of a reckoning on Friday or Thursday. I can't remember. Maybe it was Friday. The IMF, the head of the IMF came out and is calling for a global monetary reset. Now that should be headline news everywhere. I know. A lot of people are like, "Whoa, who cares about what the IMF thinks?" Um, yeah, sure, that's fine, but all of this stuff is just and it's just another voice singing the chorus of we need change, we need to do some type of money reset, basically. Um, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. You can be sure that our politicians they didn't warn us about what was going on in January and February. They've lied to us consistently since then. You can well expect that they will not tell us anything if we are on the brink of a substantial event like a massive like global reset. We will wake up one day and find, hey, there's a new system. So you want to prepare well in advance. You want to be doing what nobody else is. And that's the thing. Nobody owns things like this, gold and silver, you know? And I have to admit that, like, I had this great idea many, many years ago. Hey, with my bonus from that I get each year from work, maybe I should just pick up a piece of gold or silver. Invest some, maybe pay down some debt, but take a little bit and pick up a piece of gold and silver. I actually didn't. Well, I shouldn't say I never did that. I did, but I didn't do it consistently, and I didn't do it every year. And it's something that I kind of really regret now, because when there's a big move and things like these, it's almost like a missed opportunity. Um, and not only that, it's not only the price it increases, it's the scarcity of it. All of a sudden there's a run on gold and silver. That's what we saw earlier this year. Places were closed down, mines were shut down, mints were shut down. It was very, very difficult to find this stuff. So, you know, always prepare before the disaster. We see it every year in hurricane season. A hurricane's coming, no one prepares. Then all of a sudden it's a big deal, and everyone's kind of caught off guard. They didn't think it would be as bad as it was going to be. They didn't think that it would happen to them. And that's the thing. That's the key thing in all of this. Life is uncertain. There's no guarantees in life. And we all kind of move about this world thinking that it can't or won't happen to me. And the fact is, that's just dangerous thinking. I think you can't go around like that. You have to, be optimistic. I wouldn't say don't be optimistic, but at the same time, protect the downside risk, hedge yourself. I'm very lucky. I had a massive kind of gold, silver coin collection. Well, not super massive, but I had a good weighting in this stuff already from a long time ago, including like I had some silver maples. I had a whole bunch of stuff. This year, I've bought a lot more gold than I have in years past. And I don't regret that. I don't know if I'm buying at a high price, obviously high relative to where it's been the past 5 years, but the point of this stuff is this isn't a buy, sell, trade, or anything like that. You buy and you hold this stuff. You hang on to this stuff. Pass it on to your descendants. I have kids. I don't know if you guys have kids. Whatever. You want to hang on to this stuff and hand it down. It's just protection. That's all I can say, because things can unwind really, really fast, really, really quickly. And I spent a lot of time when I was in university. I'm a historian by trade. I study history, international relations, and all that stuff. And for the past so many years, you could just see it, all the tensions building, and it was kind of like I was saying. It just reminds me of like the 1930s, all the stuff that I've read and learned about that time period, where you have these radical political groups like on the ultra left, ultra right. um you know None of this stuff ever ends well. On top of that, you have massive wealth disparity. You have, economic dislocations, rising great power in the east. It's just, the world is really, really uncertain. I think there's a lot of tension, and I mean, I don't want to say like we're headed for war or anything like that, but that is a possibility. It's always a possibility. Is it likely? I'm not sure, but you can't, like, at this point, 5 years ago, people were saying, no way could I ever see the US and China slug it out. Now, how many people are saying that? Not a whole lot. Is it likely to happen? Probably not in the near future, but longer term, it's a possibility. The other thing that could happen is like basically a new Cold War. That's something that a lot of people have been saying. They've been saying, "Hey, we're on the cusp of a new Cold War," and guess what? The world will be divided into trading blocks. There's just so many things have come to a head that this is not the time to try to take massive big risks. If you have debt, I'm trying to pay off debt. I'm trying to get out of debt. I didn't take on too much. But I'm trying to be smart about it. Pay a little bit off. Save a little bit of cash. Own some precious metals. Try to keep your long-term investing focus, but at the same time, you need to protect the downside. And that's something that I think people are really, really bad at doing, in part because maybe they just don't know about it. I mean, of everybody I've talked to, I've been saying this for ever since March, ever since when I saw that the market's crashing and all this. I was like, now would be a good time to go out and buy a little bit of gold and silver. At that time, the prices were down quite a bit. Of course, the physical stuff was massive premiums on them. But not one person, I don't know anybody that went out and bought one of these. But they all had vacations. They all went and bought all this other crap. Nobody went out and bought a handful of silver coins. Nobody. I don't know any. I talked to some of my neighbors. Um, Obviously I don't say like, hey, I'm stocking gold and silver and that, but I was just like, just throw it out there, right? Like, no, nothing. Some people at work, I was like, hey, like, you might want to pick up some of this stuff. Um, and nothing. Nobody. It's massively under owned. And now you got like Warren Buffett buying a gold stock. You have pension funds wanting to reallocate some of their money into things like precious metals as a hedge. Bonds don't pay you any. There's no reason to own a bond today. What safety can you honestly say it provides you? It doesn't pay you any interest whatsoever, or at least in real terms. It's a negative rate. You're losing money. And look, like, who's backing that bond? The government of the US, that's like so in debt up to its eyeballs. The government of Canada, that's in no better shape. The ECB, like Bank of England, Bank of Japan, like who in their right mind would be trusting these things? Um, uh, I actually don't own any bonds, or maybe I own a very small amount in like a long bond fund. Um, I either have cash, stocks, or precious metals. Basically, I don't have any bonds. There's no point in that I see for owning a bond whatsoever. But that's just me. Anyways, guys, that's my video for this week. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video. Check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom, where I just published that new article. Hope you guys enjoy this stuff. Please share it too. I'm trying to build my subscriber base. And thanks so much for the support, guys. Have a good one.